So today, on February 7th, 2017, we are doing lesson 4.7, module 4, lesson 7. And your learning goal is to be able to use tape diagrams to multiply any whole number by any fraction. Okay, so today we're again thinking about multiplying a whole number by a fraction just like we did yesterday. But what's the difference? Did we use tape diagrams yesterday? No. What are the drawings we used yesterday called? What do you call it when you put things into rows and columns? Jack? An array, yeah. So yesterday we drew arrays to help us multiply fractions by whole numbers, and today we're still multiplying fractions by whole numbers, but we're using tape diagrams. This one. Okay, what about here?
6 divided by
The division equation would be 6 divided by 2, and then one section would be, remember, a fraction of a whole number. So the fraction is?
half
Of what whole number? You got it. Good. Okay, remember division equation first. What do we have here?
63 divided by 9.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those of you who said 63 divided by 9, can you explain to me why you thought this might be 63 divided by 9? That's a great, fabulous fail. Why did we make that? Lakshan?
I don't know 9 pieces.
So you didn't take the time to actually count. You just said, oh, that looks like a lot. It must be 9, right? So you have to actually count. So the actual division equation for this one is what? 63 divided by 7. And this little section would be?
1/7 of 63.
1/7 of 63. Nice. So by doing this, we can see that the division equation, 8 divided by 4, is the same thing, is equal to 1/4 of 8, right? Cool. Okay, let's see this last one. Yeah. You got it. So it would be 40 divided by 5, which is equal to 1/5 of 40. Interesting. What's 1/2 of 4?
2.
And what division sentence would that be equal to? 4 divided by 2. Yeah. What's 1/2 of 10?
5.
5. And that's equal to what division sentence?
10 divided by 2.
Nice. Okay. What's 1/2 of 8?
4.
And what division sentence is that equal to?
8 divided by 2.
Okay. What's 1/2 of 30?
15.
And to do that, what division sentence did you do in your head?
30 by 2.
Nice. What's half of 54?
27.
27. And that's equal to? 54 divided by 2. Okay, this one's not half anymore. What's 1/4 of 16?
4.
And that's the same as what division sentence?
16 divided by 4.
Nice. What's 1/3 of 9?
3.
And that's the same as?
9 divided by 3.
Here's something very important. I want everyone to write this sentence down. When you have a fraction of a number, like half of 8, you can think of the word of as being a multiplication sign. So if we wanted to change 1/2 of 8 into a multiplication equation, I could just take out the word of and replace it with a multiplication sign. So it'd be 1/2 times 8. So that word of just means multiply. Okay, so over here, do I have a fraction of a whole number? 1/4 of 16? So how can I turn that into a multiplication equation? Sporty?
You could do 1/4 times 16.
Yeah, 1/4 times 16. And do we already know what 1/2 of 8 is? What's 1/2 of 8? 4. So what's 1/2 times 8? Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Do we know what 1/4 of 16 is? 4. So what's 1/4 times 16?
4.
4. And earlier we just said 1/4 of 16 is the same as what division equation?
16 divided by 4.
So does that mean that 1/4 times 16 is the same thing as 16 divided by 4?
Yes.
Huh, interesting. Let's take that one step further. So we know that 1/4 times 16 is the same as what division equation? Everyone? 16 divided by 4. How do I write 16 divided by 4 as a fraction? Alex, how do I write 16 divided by 4 as a fraction? So I'm trying to write 16 divided by 4 as a fraction. Think back to lessons 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. How do I write 16 divided by 4 as a fraction? Yeah, so we know that this is the same thing as 16 over 4, right? Because we always put the whole as the numerator and the divisor as the denominator. Can I simplify 16/4? What does that equal? And is that what we said 1/4 of 16 is? So now have we proved that the multiplication is equal to the division, which is the same as what we knew before? Let's try that with 1/2 of 8. We know that 1/2 of 8 is the same thing as 1/2 times 8, right? Because we said we could always replace that word of with what math symbol? Multiplication. Good. And what division sentence is the same as 1/2 of 8? 8 divided by? And how do I write that as a fraction? 8 over 2. What's 8 over 2?
4.
Does that match up with what we said before? Oh, interesting. So this is where you start taking notes. Okay, the question is, what is 3/5 of 35? Now, yesterday, we learned using an array, right? And we knew that we had to draw how many dots in our array? 35. And we want to arrange them so that they can be divided into how many equal groups? 5. Go ahead and do that, just like you did in your homework. By drawing our array, we can see that how many dots are in 1/5 of 35? 7. So how many are in 3/5? So we know that then 3/5 of 35 is what? 21. Okay. Is it 21 35ths? Or is the answer just 21?
21.
Thank you. Now, just as a reminder, we know that 3/5 of 35 could also be written as 3/5 times 35, right? Okay. Now, this is all review. This is what we did yesterday. But now let's see how we can use a tape diagram to do the same thing. Okay. Now, when we use a tape diagram, we're going to draw a piece of tape, and the entire tape is how long? 35, because 35 is our whole. Okay. And then we have to split it into how many units? How many units? We're going to split it into 5 units. Why do you think we're going to split the whole of 35 into 5 units? Lakshan?
Because 35 in the denominator of 3/5 is 5.
You got it. Because the denominator is 5, we need to split our whole, which is 35, into 5 equal parts. So when you draw your tape diagram, it's very important to label your entire thing, your whole, 35. And then how many different units are we're trying to find how much would be in 3 units. So then go ahead and mark that off with a question mark. This is a great example of how I'm expecting to see your models in your tests and homework. So if you don't write it down in your notes, you won't have a good example. Then we're going to write that 5 units is how much? 35. So then 1 unit must be 35 divided by what? 5, which is 7. And then therefore, is that our final answer? 7? No, because we're trying to find how many are in 1, 2, 3 units. So 3 units would then be how much? 21. Equals 21. Okay, this stuff right here with your units, I do want to see you write that out. In this case, with the information given to us, it says 2/3 of the number is 8. What is the number? Is 8 our whole? Or is 8 a part? Is 8 the fraction or is 8 the whole? It's the fraction, yeah. So let's draw a tape diagram. It says 2/3 of the number is 8. So if that is 2/3, that's 8, right? What would I need to add to that to make a whole number? I need to add another third, because is 2/3 a whole? How many thirds are missing from 2/3 to make it a whole? 1. So if I add one more third, does that mean that this is what we're trying to find? The whole? Okay. So what can we do to figure that out? If I find out how much this much is, can I find out what the whole would be? So if I know that 2/3 is 8, or sorry, if 2 units, let's write it this way. If 2 units are 8, how much is 1 unit?
4.
Yeah, so 1 unit would be 8 divided by 2, which is 4, right? And then the whole is how many units? 3 units. So then I need to do 3 units equals 4 times 3, which is 12. So therefore the number is 12. What that means is 2/3 of 12 is 8, right? Very good. In this case, we know that 4/7 of the money, of her money, is how much money? It's 24, yeah. So since our denominator is 7, we know that the whole was divided into how many parts? 7. So what you can do is you can draw a whole. And do we know how much money she had altogether?
No.
No, that's the question mark. But we can divide it into 7 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we know that how many of those sevenths equals 24? 4. So I can count out 1, 2, 3, 4 sevenths. And that's $24. So how many units equals 24? 4. So I can write 4 units equals 24. So therefore 1 unit is how much? Is 24 divided by 4, which is? $6. So if I know that 1 unit here is $6, how many units is it in the entire whole? 7. So I can do 7 units. How do I find out how much is 7 units? I do $6 times 7, which is? So she started out with $42. Okay? So to recap, because sometimes these backwards ones are hard to solve, all you need to do is look at what the denominator is, and you know what the whole, how many parts the whole was divided into. Okay? Very good.